Coming up on OU Nightly, a Cleveland County judge denies OU's motion to close the courtroom in Bourne's misconduct hearing.
A lawsuit has been filed against State Superintendent Ryan Walters.
And OU's homecoming week comes to a close.
This is OU Nightly.
Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Savannah Simmons.
And I'm Olivia Hayes. We begin tonight with a ruling from a Cleveland County judge allowing press access to the courtroom overseeing the President Boren misconduct trial. The University of Oklahoma filed a motion in September to close the courtroom, arguing reports represented at the hearing would violate assurances of confidentiality.
According to lawyers for the University of Oklahoma, reports will include interviews with 62 people. These reports were compiled by an international law firm OU paid to investigate whether Boren acted inappropriately towards aides and students. The reports were sent to the university's Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation in 2019, but charges were not filed against Boren or the university. And over 30 parents, teachers, and faith leaders file a lawsuit against Oklahoma State Superintendent Ryan Walters to stop the mandate that Bibles must be placed in every K-12 classroom. This lawsuit is an attempt to stop Walters from spending budget money on Bibles.
In September, the Oklahoma Board of Education asked for $3 million to fund the Bibles in all Oklahoma classrooms. That budget request was approved by the Oklahoma State Department of Education. And break out the flannels, it's finally feeling like fall.
OU Nightly meteorologist Alexa Doringuez tells us more about these cool temps. Alexa?
Yeah, it is just beautiful here across the Oklahoma City metro, and these temperatures are surely feeling like fall. Here in Norman, we're sitting at about 73 degrees. Up there in Oklahoma City, we're sitting in the lower 70s as well. And across the state, our friends up in Tulsa are also seeing similar temperatures. Down there in Lawton, we're also seeing those really warm temperatures nearing the 80s. Coming up, we're going to be talking about your next chance for rain, when we're going to see those temperatures heat up, and your game day forecast.
Thanks, Alexa. Homecoming is here, and so are the traditions. The annual fall mums are in full bloom, with this year's theme resembling a stained glass window. The design includes shades of pink, red, and yellow, as well as solid colors that create dividing lines. OU's landscaping department has been caring for the mums since they were planted during the summer. Tammy Mitchell is the senior landscaping specialist and says preparations take time with the design planned out a year out.
We try to change it up every year. If there's something special going on with football or what have you, then we'll kind of gear it towards that, or sometimes we just do something different. We've been looking at different patterns for next year.
The landscaping department says they planted 17,000 mums this year. They expect the mums to be fully bloomed by Monday or Tuesday.
Earlier this week, we had the Glow Run. Tonight, it's the annual OU Homecoming Week Glow Parade. The parade will start at 7:30 and end at McCaslin Fieldhouse around 8:30. The parade will be followed immediately by the Raw Rally. And more information is coming out about the death of Hamas's leader.
Hear what Hamas senior officials had to say coming up.
And new documents are unsealed in Donald Trump's election interference case.
Details on the information released when we return.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
When we have the food we need, we are at our best. We push further. We rise higher. We unlock our full potential. When we have the food we need, we make our communities stronger. Together, we can help everyone get the food they need to thrive. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
One Direction members Harry Styles, Zayn Malik, Louis Tomlinson, and Niall Horan honor Liam Payne on social media. The four band members wrote statements to Payne and his loved ones acknowledging his passing. The band's Instagram also released a statement saying, "We're completely devastated by the news of Liam's passing." Payne was a part of One Direction for 6 years.
There's new information about Hamas leader how Hamas leader Sinwar died. Emma McAndrews has that story and the rest of today's national and international headlines from the News Center.
Hamas says it has confirmed the body is the Hamas leader Sinwar, and pathologists say he died from a gunshot wound to the head. Israeli sources say his body could be used as a bargaining chip in exchange for Israeli hostages in Gaza. According to both Hamas and Israeli militaries, his bodyguard was also killed. And a Texas death row inmate received a partial stay of execution last night. It happened just an hour before the execution of Robert Robertson, who was convicted of the murder of his 2-year-old daughter in a shaken baby case. 86 bipartisan state lawmakers have asked for clemency in the case. The state Supreme Court isn't explaining its reasoning, but the legal maneuvers leading up to the stay are historic. And today, more documents related to former President Donald Trump's election interference case were released. Special counsel Jack Smith document release comes after Thursday's D.C. federal judge rejection of Trump's request to pause the release. The release lays out the details of Smith's case against Trump. And in France, archaeologists unearthed the world's largest arthropod. The 300-million-year-old fossil named Arthropleuro shows what the giant millipede looked like. Savannah, Olivia.
Thanks, Emma. Next week begins OU's Free Speech Week. First Amendment lawyer and author Greg Lukianov will give the keynote speech. OU Free Speech Week is a nonpartisan event to recognize and celebrate freedom of speech and press.
A swift turn of events for a couple decorating their house for Halloween.
Find out what happened when we return.
We're currently tracking the next Kansas parade. More on that coming up.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused. A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here's a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, if your shower can fill a 1-gallon bucket in less than 20 seconds, replace the shower head with a water-efficient one. They are cheap, easy to install, and can save you up to 750 gallons a month. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
It is feeling beautiful out for those of us here in Norman. We see such sunny skies and some really nice fall temperatures. We're currently sitting here in the lower 70s, 73 with those sunny skies, and our dew points are relatively low, so there's not a lot of moisture in the air and not a lot of humidity, which is really nice for us here. And across the state, we're also seeing those similar temperatures, 74 in Oklahoma City, but down to our south in Ardmore and Lawton, they're seeing slightly warmer temperatures. Just out there to the Panhandle, we're seeing a little bit cooler temperatures than those of us here, and these warm temperatures are being driven by the winds that we're currently seeing across the state. We have some stronger winds here in Norman coming out from the south, 25 miles per hour, just a little bit stronger in Oklahoma City, 29 miles per hour, and we're seeing some even stronger wind gusts out there in Guyman with 31 miles per hour. And those dry conditions and those warm temperatures and those wind gusts are playing a role in the drought that we're currently seeing here across the state. Those of us here in Norman, we sure are lucky. There's a little bubble just surrounding us. We're not in that drought risk, but those of us all the way to our south, extending to our northeast, are also seeing this effect of the drought. Down to our southwest over here in Lawton, we're seeing those effects of the drought. They're in an extreme, nearing an exceptional risk for our drought, and same thing for up there in Miami. And also these warm temperatures are pretty dormant here, and this is because of this slight ridge and high pressure system that we're seeing over Oklahoma. But luckily, as we head over the weekend, we can see this low pressure system will start to move eastward, and that might bring some relief out there to the Panhandle, and then finally bring us potentially some showers in Norman and up to our north over into Monday, which is really going to help for us and give us that cool down and relief that we're going to be seeing. But tonight here across the state, Norman, we're going to be sitting in those lower 50s. Similarly in Oklahoma City, these temperatures are going to be a little bit warmer than what we've seen over the last few days. But if you're heading out tonight, be sure to pack a jacket because it is going to be chilly, and those 5 to 15 mile per hour winds are going to play a role in that chill as well. But luckily for our game day, those temperatures are going to expect to warm up. We're going to see 60 degrees at tailgate, so a little bit chilly again. Be sure to have a jacket on hand with you. Kickoff, we're going to warm up just nearly 10 degrees, 68, and then at halftime, we're going to see temperatures bypassing the 70s, so it's going to be a beautiful game day. Just like I said, a little bit chillier, so maybe pack a light jacket with you because this is definitely going to be a lot cooler than what we've seen from our previous game days. And our 7-day forecast, like I said, Saturday we're going to see those warmer temperatures nearing the mid to lower 70s. Sunday we're going to gradually increase. Same thing with Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday though, that's when those temperatures are going to warm back up. We're going to be seeing temperatures feeling like summer. So I apologize for those of you who were expecting to see some fall because we're going to have some summertime temperatures, so be sure to take advantage of that. And are you guys planning on going to the game tomorrow?
I am actually not going to the game. I am going to another game in the morning, so it's going to be a little bit chilly, but I'm ready to bring a jacket and ready to bring some blankets. What about you, Olivia?
I unfortunately am not going to the game, just mostly because I am not good in the cold whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad to see that warm up here in the next week or so, because those 80 degree temperatures are my type of temperatures that I like to sit with.
Are you going to the game?
I am actually, so I'm going to be packing that jacket with me, so I'm going to have a great time and have fun on your weekend.
Thank you so much, Alexa. Now, Swifties in Indianapolis have created a spooky tribute to Taylor Swift, the Fearless Tour House. The display, inspired by Swift's Eras Tour, has a skeleton for each of her albums, but the house has become a target of theft. 5 of the skeletons were taken and then returned Thursday without their clothes. The couple plans to dress them up again and install security cameras.
It's a big weekend for Sooner football as OU faces South Carolina for the first time.
It'll be a homecoming for Sooner fans and for Shane Beamer. Hear from the Sooners and the Gamecocks about the big game next in Big Friday Sports.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink, Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the kitchen, collect the excess water you use to rinse produce and use it to water houseplants. Also, soak your pots and pans instead of letting the water run while you scrape them. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman. Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
Welcome back to OU Nightly and welcome to Big Friday Sports. I'm Cam Williams.
And I'm Aiden Tyler. The Sooners football team play host to South Carolina for the first time ever in tomorrow's homecoming game. OU Nightly's Brooke Griggs is live from the stadium ahead of tomorrow's action. Brooke?
Oklahoma will be looking for redemption against South Carolina after suffering a 34-3 loss against their arch-rival Texas. OU's offense is ranked last in the SEC, and the team is now unranked in the AP poll. But the Sooners say they are not done for the season.
Do we got to pull the trigger? Yeah, we do. And do we got to get better with our route detail? We do. And that's, there's a coaching piece to that. What you put on the field is a reflection of what you're coached. And then at the same time, we got to take what we practice, what we did right in practice, and we got to take it to game day. We can't lose our mind. And too often, that happens as well.
You just got to have that mindset where you're going to mess up. I mean, nobody's perfect in football. Nobody's perfect in life, period. But you just got to, it's the way you're going to bounce back. And you got to ignore the outside. Just make sure you stay off all the social media, stay off that, because none of that matters. This right here, us, OU matters.
Only lost back-to-back home games just once since 2014. The Sooners will look to not suffer the same fate against the Gamecocks tomorrow. Reporting live from Gaylord Memorial Stadium, Brooke Griggs, OU Nightly.
As OU takes on South Carolina tomorrow, one former assistant coach will make his return to the Palace after spending 3 years with the Sooners. OU Nightly sports reporter Britton Ross has more.
As Oklahoma football enters the SEC, a new conference brings new teams and some familiar faces. Shane Beamer was on the OU staff before becoming the head coach at South Carolina, but he remembers his time in Norman fondly.
And it's pretty cool when I worked there. You drive to work every day and you drive past all these Heisman Trophy statues. So, I mean, that's not normal at a lot of places. So I think we don't talk a whole lot about the venue or the atmosphere. They'll be excited to go out there as well and play a really good team. Emotions, I don't know. I've got some great memories from my time in Norman, some great friends that I made during my time there. So appreciative to Joe Harris and Joe Castiglione and Lincoln Riley for giving me an opportunity to go to Norman. We grew as a family, had a great time living there. It'll be emotions just going into a place that I spent 3 years and had a great time. I'll be in that visiting locker room. The only time I was in there was Coach Riley kicked the team and coaches out of our locker room because we weren't keeping it clean one year, so he made us all dress for a week of practice in the visiting team locker room, so it won't be my first time in the locker room over there, but it's just a great venue and great place with great people, and it'll be exciting going back there.
The Gamecocks fly into Norman on October 19th for the first matchup in program history. Reporting from Dallas, Texas, Britton Ross, OU Nightly.
And Shane Beamer is coming back for OU's homecoming, but let's look at some other games across the SEC. Alabama travels to Knoxville to face the Vols. The last time Tennessee hosted Bama, the field goal post ended up in the Cumberland River. Georgia heads to Austin to take on the top-ranked Horns, a real test to see if Texas is back. Auburn and Missouri square off in Columbia as well. Arkansas hosts LSU for the Battle of the Boot, and we'll also see the Wildcats of Kentucky try to scratch the Gators of Florida.
For Oklahoma football, tradition and historic excellence runs deep. OU Nightly sports reporter Kaylee Jo Hummel took a visit down Main Street to dive deeper into the origin of OU football.
It's football time in Oklahoma.
Time for football and to dust off a piece of history.
The birthplace of Oklahoma football was a bit of a mystery, and people had referred to it, but not really sure.
But it's no longer a mystery. After years of research by OU, the spot where the idea for a football team began, right on Main Street. Now a local restaurant, once home to the Reisinger Barbershop.
Let's get up a football team.
6 words said in a barbershop like where I'm sitting by John Hartz. Now he would go on to coach that first Oklahoma football team in the fall of 1895.
It's the past that gives us the path to the future.
OU remembers this past in honor of the 100th celebration of its stadium.
Taking a moment to celebrate various stages and special, noteworthy parts of Oklahoma football history.
The site is now dedicated with a marker to be forever remembered as one of these stages. Reporting from Main Street, Kaylee Jo Hummel, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Kaylee Jo. From the birthplace of OU football to the home of OU Nightly's Andrew West. The Elgin Owls played host to Weatherford and OU commit CJ Nixon. I know it's homecoming week here in Norman, but Andrew, you got to go home to Elgin and cover the game.
Yeah, buddy. Welcome back to Aaron and Al with Andrew. This week, I'm taking y'all down I-44 to my alma mater in the Shady 580 as the undefeated Elgin Owls welcome in the 5-1 Weatherford Eagles. And if you don't know much about Elgin, you should probably get to know this kid. Ritson Meyer pounds one into the end zone for an early Owls lead as he and the crowd start celebrating early, and y'all should probably start getting used to that because it's kind of the theme of the night. Just a few drives later, Meyer again tells them to hit the weight room as he busts through one tackle and evades a few others as he takes it to the house to put the Owls up 14-0. The Sooners offense should probably start taking some notes. Weatherford, though, trying to hang around as running back Ty Short finally gets the Eagles on the board. And cute little celebration, but hey, the Owls are unbeaten for a reason, and a big reason is this guy right here. Quarterback Trace Laura throws a deep one to Braden Craig to extend the lead again. Laura recently broke Elgin's career record for passing touchdowns in a season, and it's no surprise why, but hey, they still like to ground and pound. Ritzenmeyer again makes a couple defenders look silly like he's been doing all game and all season as the Owls start to run away with this one. Weatherford, though, looking for a sign of life, throws one deep, but it doesn't matter. Bryce Martin picks it off and takes it back to the house to send the Eagles packing 56-14. After the game, we caught up with Weatherford defensive end and OU commit CJ Nixon about his relationship with the Sooners.
They've been recruiting me from day one, before all this ever blew up, and it's been the same all the way through. Like, the bond's just grown tighter and tighter with the coaching staff, the other commits, and the people that are on the team right now.
Nixon said he also plans to make the trip to each of OU's remaining home games. Aiden, Cam?
Coming up after the break, we'll have a game day forecast for OU's matchup versus South Carolina tomorrow.
And hear from both OU Hoops coaches as the basketball season is nearing closer. And find out what top recruit is on campus for Jenny Baranczyk's squad next on Big Friday Sports.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
We said we'd never break the 3-second rule. Never do that. And never become a minivan mom.
Hey, Chris.
As parents, we say never a lot, but never happens. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Here to Norman for game day tomorrow, you're definitely in for a treat. We're not going to be seeing those blazing temperatures like we've seen the last few game days, but instead we're going to see those fall-like temperatures. Around tailgating time, we're going to be seeing temperatures at 60 degrees. It's gradually going to go up for kickoff, nearing 70s, and as we head to halftime, we're going to see those really warm temperatures. Be sure to pack a jacket if you're headed to the game, because even though we have those warm temperatures, there's going to be a breeze.
As basketball season looms, recruiting season never ends. Head women's basketball coach Jenny Baranchek has a tall task: to pry away 5-star Lubbock, Texas point guard Aaliyah Chavez. And with Oklahoma in her official top 6 schools, there's still a chance with her visiting OU today. Another focus for Baranchek, keeping players in their home state of Oklahoma.
To be able to keep the best players in the state of Oklahoma at Oklahoma, that's always been a goal. That's always going to be a goal. You want to continue to grow your fan base. That's something that we want to be able to continue to do. And so I think both of them have done an incredible job. It's also a pretty unique dynamic that Skylar and Zaya get to play together, and it's only because of this extra COVID year. They've never gotten to do that.
The OU men's basketball squad was picked to finish 15th in the SEC this year. This comes after the Sooners finished 20-12 last season, missing the NCAA tournament. Head coach Porter Moser believes his team has enough balance to not be left out again.
I mean, that was one of the hardest days we went through. We combined it with, I think, 4 or 5 guys that have played in the tournament. You know, so we got a mix of guys that have played in it. One guy played in the Final Four. A bunch of other guys played in the tournament with guys that had that day. And I loved watching that blend of emotions come together. And that's what's been part of that. But yeah, it's rough. I mean, there's not a day that goes by that doesn't think about that Selection Sunday.
Former Sooner QB and current Saints rookie Spencer Rattler struggled last night in a primetime loss to the Denver Broncos. The Saints were defeated 33-10, and Rattler lost 2 fumbles, including this one, returned by Broncos linebacker Cody Barton for the 52-yard touchdown that all but sealed the deal for the Broncos. Rattler finished the game with a pedestrian 172 yards on 4.9 yards per pass. And next up, Rattler and the Saints traveled to Los Angeles to face the Chargers.
And the Oklahoma City Thunder closed out the preseason with a 104-99 win over the Hawks. Isaiah Joe led the way with 16 points in 16 minutes. Jalen Williams injured his ankle after 13 minutes, but per ESPN's Tim McMahon, the injury is not severe.
And OU volleyball is on the road this weekend to face Georgia and South Carolina in Athens. The Sooners will play 2 games in 3 days as they look to bounce back from a 4-set loss to Arkansas last Sunday night. The first match of the weekend is tonight versus Georgia at 6 p.m. on SEC Network Plus.
And OU women's soccer makes a trip to Columbia to face Missouri tonight at 7. Matt Mott's Sooners have lost 3 straight games, and a win today would be the first Sooner win in Columbia since 2003. OU has 4 points in conference play, which has them 15th in the conference. The top 12 teams make it to the SEC tournament.
And Aiden, you know we play South Carolina tomorrow. Do you have an MVP for the game?
I think R. Mason Thomas can show up and have a big game. He's been a game wrecker all season long. I think him coming off that defensive end spot could be really crucial.
I'm going to stick with you and go on the defensive side. I'm going to go Robert Spears-Jennings. And thank you for watching Big Friday Sports. I'm Cam Williams.
And I'm Aiden Tyler. Be sure to watch OU Nightly weekdays live at 4:30. Good night.
Hate is loud. It gets close.